Let's jump right in. 6 days ago, the narrative around the England national team was, well, entirely different. I mean, they just smashed in 4 brilliant goals in their opening match. We watched Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, and Marcus Rashford playing with absolute freedom. And honestly, the whole world was convinced this swashbuckling side was ready to completely dominate. And then, 6 days later, came Ghana. So, in today's Explainer, we're going to decode one of the most baffling matches of the tournament so far, a stunning stalemate against a team ranked 65th in the world. And to put that into perspective, this is the lowest ranked team England has faced at a major tournament in 30 years.
To really wrap our heads around the shock of this result, we got to look at the balance of play on the pitch. England held a staggering 78.8% possession. Just let that sink in for a second. That is their highest ever possession figure in a World Cup match on record since 1966. They had nearly 79% of the ball against a 65th-ranked team, thoroughly dominating the middle of the park and pinning their opponents back for the vast majority of the game.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the devastating reality of all that possession. Zero. Despite having their highest possession numbers in over half a century, England scored absolutely 0 goals. All of that build-up, all of that time on the ball, and it resulted in a completely blank score sheet. This wasn't a case of a team getting outplayed in midfield, it was a case of total paralysis in front of the net.
The second game curse, a historical pattern. To understand what happened in Boston, we actually need to zoom out and look at a broader historical pattern. Look, it's incredibly tempting to just chalk this up to bad luck, right? Or maybe just an off day for the forwards. But England has now stumbled in their second group fixture for 4 successive tournaments. Just look at this progression. A drab draw against Scotland in 2021, the exact same thing against the USA in 2022, Denmark in 2024, and now Ghana in 2026. It genuinely doesn't seem to matter who's managing the team, Thomas Tuchel in this instance, or which world-class players are out there on the pitch. They arrive, win their first game super impressively, and then inexplicably collapse into a sluggish performance against a far weaker opponent in Game 2.
And the crucial point here is just how historically deep this issue runs when it comes to breaking down teams at the World Cup. England has drawn 23 World Cup games in total across their history. Of those 23 draws, an unprecedented 13 of them have ended 0-0. Both of those figures, the total draws and the goalless draws, are the highest numbers of any side in the entire history of the competition.
Possession without purpose. The first half breakdown. So how do you have the ball for almost an entire half and fail to create any meaningful attacking output? The picture of this tactical failure is pretty stark. England completed 104 successful passes ending in the final third. That is the most by a side that failed to have a shot on target in the first half of a World Cup game on record since 1966. 104 passes in the most dangerous area of the pitch, and yet 0 shots on target. The ball was moving everywhere, side to side, backward, forward, literally everywhere except toward the actual net. In fact, this match marked the first time since Croatia faced Belgium back in 2022 that neither side managed a single shot on target in the first half of a World Cup match. I mean, aside from a looping Declan Rice header that harmlessly cleared the crossbar, the game was entirely devoid of goalmouth action for 45 minutes. And from the perspective of the underdog, Ghana's plan was working flawlessly. You could see this lack of progression taking a massive emotional toll on the English players too. The official FIFA report noted this perfectly, highlighting how Jude Bellingham, arguably the best young midfielder in the world right now, was completely driven to frustration. It culminated in this clumsy late tackle that earned him a yellow card. When your star creator is reduced to committing fouls out of sheer exasperation, it tells you everything you need to know about the effectiveness of the opposition's defensive shape. The second half heartbreak. Agonizing near misses. After the break, Thomas Tuchel realized he had to change the equation to force a breakthrough against the stubborn defense. By bringing on Morgan Rogers and Eberechi Eze to replace Bellingham and Anderson, we finally saw some much-needed directness and pace. In the 57th minute, we actually get shots on target, with Noni Madueke's block strike and an Anthony Gordon effort, but the real heartbreak came late. Okay, let's dive into this. In the 87th minute, O'Reilly heads against the crossbar. The ball falls perfectly to Harry Kane, the goal is absolutely gaping, and from just 8 yards out, he shockingly skies a sitter over the bar. And if that wasn't enough, in the 93rd minute of stoppage time, Marc Guehi connects with an Eze cross, only to see his header desperately cleared right off the goal line. Just agonizing. Ghana's defensive masterclass. Credit where it is due. As easy as it is to focus on England's attacking failures and missed sitters, we really must shift the narrative to Carlos Queiroz because he achieved a brilliant tactical success with Ghana, and this brilliantly illustrates that point. Ghana managed only 2 total shots for the entire duration of the game. That is the fewest shots England has faced in a World Cup game on record since 1966. Yet, despite essentially offering 0 attacking threats themselves, Ghana walked away with a massive point.
This was a total masterclass. Queiroz's game plan was singular and unwavering. Defend incredibly deep, frustrate England's creators, absorb wave after wave of pressure, and only counter when practically risk-free. His players executed this to absolute perfection. They formed an impenetrable defensive wall that held one of the tournament favorites to a goalless draw, leaving both sides sitting on 4 points in the group.
The knockout stage question. Looking forward.
Zooming out, where does this result leave England as they look ahead to matchday 3 against Panama? The truth is, this squad is wildly erratic. Their absolute ceiling is a thrilling, fluid 4-2 win over Croatia, where they looked unstoppable. But their floor? It's this stagnant, frustrating 0-0 draw against Ghana, characterized by 79% possession but 0 end product. Their actual potential, as is so often the case with this team, clearly lies somewhere right in between these massive highs and staggering lows.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. Harry Kane missed a sitter. Bellingham was frustrated into recklessness, and 79% possession yielded 0 goals. The curse is visibly back. If this England team cannot figure out how to score against a 65th ranked team sitting in a low block, what exactly is going to happen when they face the tactical sophistication of France, Argentina, or Spain in the knockout rounds? England has one more group game to prove this was just a minor blip rather than a fatal curse before the real tournament begins.